Hello and welcome to Believers in Business. I am your host, Melissa Plaskoff, and I am so excited today to be visiting with two amazing women who are not only making a difference in their own lives, but are dedicating time to making a real impact in the Dallas community. Want to start off by welcoming Cheryl Friday.
Hello everyone.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Well, let's start off by talking about the Golden Touch Enrichment Academy. This is pretty unbelievable what you started.
Well, yes, I actually have been in business for 30 plus years, blessed, and to be able to edify the beauty on God's creation. I am an educator, director, both barber and cosmetology. And so with that, our school that is upcoming in the new year here
Right.
in the DFW area will be able to educate individuals in the community with life variables they have faced to become productive citizens in the community.
So
And
they're not only going to beauty college,
No.
they're getting an education and life lessons at the same time.
Yes,
That's
definitely
unique.
so. Yes,
What-
life skills.
Life skills, the whole thing. So how did you decide to kind of pair the two together?
Well, honestly, it's all about God. The gifts and talents that He has given me, and seeing the needs of the individuals, the images. Because I feel good, I look good. I actually act pretty good.
Yeah, it's
You
kind
know.
and if you and then you kind of go into that hole if you feel good, and then you can go into the inside out.
To the depth.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
go kind of
the
deeper
inner
than that
man.
external.
Yeah, and to
Yeah.
be able to not only just educate, touching others' lives, to give them a look to. It's also not about just the art alone. It's about the science, the anatomy, because that's the canvas we work on. Healthiness and awareness there. Eat, rest, sleep. You know, all those good mannerisms
yeah.
of a healthy life. How can my skin be so beautiful in appearance? Feel good. You know, I'm exercising. Also, job obtaining opportunities.
That's a really good point
Yeah.
because, right, I mean, if you don't look good on the exterior, I mean, that's kind of a first impression.
Exactly.
And that's just the way it
Yeah.
goes. I mean, bottom line, right?
Bottom line,
And so,
bottom line.
and then trying to get a job,
Yes.
trying to stay employed,
Yeah.
trying to make a difference and help others. You have to be able to have a certain look, and that's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what you're doing is you're kind of you're bridging that gap and bringing it together.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
people can feel good, look good, and also inside
Inside
understand.
and out. Yeah,
No.
because I educate, and I've been blessed to be able to cross a lot of individuals' life paths, and they've crossed mine. I'm actually a product of my own entity. Life trials and tribulations.
Okay, so hold on. You have a story.
I have a story.
Let's back up because you've been doing this for a long time,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
30 years, right?
30 plus
Okay,
years.
30 plus years. That's what you said. So something happened
Something.
for you to get this going.
Well, let me be honest. Actually, I have a degree in fashion merchandise.
Okay.
I am a daughter of three, only girl. So I'm actually was a tomboy. So this one year I came home on this summer visit from college, and God just endowed me. And actually, that was the point of my life where He was intaking me and showing me my purpose.
Okay.
My purpose. And so the anointing of my hands, and I touch, and that's why my business is called Golden Touch. But that name came by because I pledged the year in 82 at college. At the time, it was Southwest Texas, Texas State, and San Marcos. This time now has changed the name. And so I came home this one summer, and I've always modeled and always about fashion. My dad was a fashionista himself, and things of that nature from up north, Newark, New Jersey. And so that was just something internal, because I actually was sewing without a pattern. I was creating designs, and I'm always artistic and things, working with my hands. Art, singing, directing the choir for 20, all those years, my hands have always been busy. So I'm very insured on these hands.
Right.
And so then I came home that summer, and it was like, Mom, I'm going to beauty school. Now, ask me where this came from. Nothing but heaven. I couldn't tell you because
That wasn't part of your master plan.
it was not
No.
part of my master plan, says Jeremiah. And so with that being said, then I went off to school. I'm actually from Austin. a native Austinite, and so I actually been here in the DFW now. I guess lived 5, 6 years by way of a divorce, but God moved me for growth and development. And that's how that journey began. I own my own business, salon business. I'm a mother of six, a queen grandmother of seven. And so that journey began there, and I began to touch a lot of lives. Then, sometimes you just don't see who you are and can understand the things that you're doing. But as long as you have God in the head, who's the head of my life, who has actually just constructed this whole life skill plan of mine. And so I'm just walking this journey in faith, in believing and trusting and knowing God has already just paved this way for me. So I'm just being utilized as his vessel.
Well, it's interesting because you made a really good point. I mean, you made a lot of good points, but something you said about helping others. So as you continued, you said, okay, I'm going to go to beauty school. I'm going to have my experience in Austin. You had a little life changing
Major
moment,
change, yes.
right? Not a little one, a big one. Now you're in Dallas, but you're continuing to help others. You've recently started a nonprofit.
Yes.
So it's not like you said, okay, I'm good. I'm content. I've got my business, Golden Touch. We're good. You're going to push it.
Yeah.
You're not done.
I'm not done.
So you have started the nonprofit, tell us, the Life Enrichment Coalition.
The Life Enrichment Coalition. And again, I stated earlier, its mission is to educate individuals in the community that have faced life variables, and those variables come far and wide,
And so when you say that, let's dig a little deeper. You're talking about
homeless, the veterans,
adults with disabilities.
adult with disabilities, children that come from dysfunctional homes, things of that nature.
So you're going to be providing scholarships
Yes, I
to
am.
your school
Yes.
for these people.
Yes.
So people that I mean, let's take a homeless person, for example, right? That person is not going to feel good or look good.
Oh, look good.
So you're saying, you know what? I have this platform and I have an opportunity. So I'm going to do everything in my power.
Yeah,
And I don't
to
want to speak your
educate you.
words. To educate.
To educate you, because education, that's knowledge. Knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
And so if I have the knowledge about what I'm doing, it's not just to be a doer of, but it's also to have the knowledge to go with that.
It's amazing. Well, I think what you're doing, obviously, you're successful and you're involving community, and being a successful business involves the bigger picture. And I want to introduce Sussie Jennings with Operation Care International, because are we not done? She is making an impact in Dallas too.
Exactly. So with that being said,
Yes, please.
bringing her to the table.
Let's bring her.
I'm excited.
Yes.
December the 5th, we're actually collaborating. I'm bringing some of the students to go, and we're going to be doing service. We're going to be doing haircuts and styles and things of that nature. And there are some other large businesses that are coming to be a part of that, are just being service. And so I'm excited to be able to have met Miss Susan as well, and be a part of the her business, her organization on December at the convention center. So that collaboration just gives me a big wow.
That's why I said you're not done yet. So welcome to Believers in Business. Okay, so let's talk about it. December 15th, Dallas Convention Center, 15,000 homeless people.
Well, these are not just homeless, but impoverished children, about 6,000 last year with families. And we have 1,000 homeless veterans and impoverished veterans also who came. So we have a total of 12,000 people who came, homeless and impoverished. And then 3,200 volunteers.
Okay, can we back up a touch?
Yes.
I like the backing up part. How in the world did you start this?
15 years ago, it really started in a tragedy. My husband committed suicide, and then he disappeared from our home for 30 days, and we found him in Oklahoma. He was suffering from a chemical imbalance called serotonin deficiency, which caused severe depression. And he was in the Army, and then we discovered him. He had been dead for 30 days when we found his body in Oklahoma. He was hiding in a ravine in the hilly part of Atoka. And we buried him a day before Easter. And he was supposed to sing in our church Easter Sunday. The title of his song was Heaven.
Wow.
And the pastor said now he's singing it with the Lord because David accepted Jesus when he was a little boy. And so that was an illness that killed him. Not just because David wanted to do it, but
Right.
it was a mental illness. And then 3 months later, I became disabled because I had a car accident. So I could not walk. Then 2 months after that, I was baking a cake. My next door neighbor shot his heart, committed suicide while I was 30 feet from me.
Oh my gosh.
And that got me mad at God. And I questioned. And that night, he gave me a dream. In my dream, I was knocking at my neighbor's doors, telling them about Jesus. So the next day, I woke up and I decided to choose joy.
Yeah.
Because the Bible said, weeping may endure for a night,
Yes,
joy comes
God.
in the morning.
Yes, God.
Wow.
So I
I mean,
chose
so I
joy.
think to anyone who's listening or watching, it's pretty tragic what you've been through, right? I mean, really the low of the low.
Yes.
And not only did it happen once and then again, and you've been hit and not, understand what I mean, knocked down. And you got some sort of message, thought, whatever, and you decided to listen and take
decided-
action and you had a choice.
Right. So I decided to choose joy. So I asked God, Lord, what can I do for you? This is what I tell you. Do not ask God, what can you do for him?
All right.
Unless you're prepared.
All right.
He's going to take you out of your comfort zone. Because 3 weeks later, I was driving from church, and then on the way home, I was passing by a bridge with 100 people living in cardboard boxes. And then I heard a voice in my heart that said, look at your left side. So I looked, and then there were homeless men and women. And then the voice said in my heart, he said, go there in person and help the homeless.
Yes, yes.
And then I said, no, not me. Those are crazy, violent people. They're going to kill me. And I don't like homeless people. They're dirty, and I'm a nurse. I'm clean, and they're so messy, and they don't like to work, and all those excuses. And then the voice said, you were the one who asked me, what can you do for me?
All right.
So right there and then, I got convicted. That was my road to Damascus experience. I heard the
Wow.
voice of
Yes,
God,
God.
and I said, God, forgive me. I would go, what could I take to these needy people? And the voice said, blankets. So the next day, unconditional obedience, in 26 hours, I went to Baylor Hospital. I was supervisor at Baylor Hospital. I asked all doctors and nurses I could find for $5 so I could buy blankets. And then in November, before Thanksgiving, a Sunday before Thanksgiving, we delivered 100 blankets under the bridge. And then in Christmas time, we did it again. And then for 8 years, I became the blanket lady of Dallas. So that was my name. And then that was all my life, blankets, blankets, blankets. 8 years with my mother, my old mother. And I didn't like the homeless because when I was growing up in the Philippines, my mother used to feed them in our kitchen. So I grew up not liking them because they ate my food. They occupied my space. So I didn't
Wow.
like them, not knowing that.
And who
God-
knew you were going to be the one providing them with
Exactly.
comfort, with the blankets, and right, and giving them, that cozy,
Yes,
you
the
know,
warm
that feeling.
So God trained me in my mother's kitchen.
Yes.
And then I came full
So
circle.
you had the lesson a long time ago.
Yes, I came full circle in that bridge. But it took
Yeah.
the life of my husband for God to open my eyes. So it took a tragedy for God to have victory in my life.
So what do you say to someone, and I know this is kind of probably off of topic, but when you have a tragedy, how do you've turned your tragedy into something beyond positive. How do you dig yourself up from that? I understand that you heard something and that, but you have to take action. But how, if you're so upset and so sad, what's your advice to someone?
I really went into the Word. When David was missing for 30 days, I would read Psalms chapter by chapter every day. And that's really the Word came to life. So I became closer to God because of my tragedy.
Yes.
So turning tragedy into triumph, but it's a choice because I made a choice to serve God instead of feeling sorry for me or feeling angry with God. And I decided, because the Bible, the word said, weeping may endure for a night, joy comes in the morning. So I decided I'm going to choose joy and serve God instead of feeling bad or feeling sad or feeling angry with God.
And when you take time and help someone else, ultimately, when you look back at your own situation and re-examine, you have a different perspective.
Oh, yes. I mean, giving away joy and love. The bottom line of all our problems in this world is really about a lack of love. There was a saying that said, a physician said, the problem we have is really, it could be solved with love. And then a man answered, how about if it doesn't work? And then the physician responded, double the dose.
You
There
know,
you go.
that's what she's saying is so prevalent. And, you know, as you were asking me when I was saying I came home from school, that same year, when I tell you that the things that are taken away from you, God will add double. He will increase that abundantly, because at that same summer, we had a fire.
Oh, wow.
But the fire, remember, I sewed. My room was the only room that burned, and my mom had a 3-bedroom house. And just to give back, just to know that, you know, I all that I did, and it wasn't in a selfish way, but it was just still trying to find. But you have to dig deep down within her. A loss is a loss.
Oh, you got to
You
peel
know,
back all those
but
layers.
you've got to triumph
Yeah.
and keep moving and moving and moving and moving on, and that doesn't define you, because you're on a journey. And when she said the road of Damascus, oh, that road of Damascus testimony is so prevalent. Just to be able to allow humanity to see God's glory, His victory, we trump down the devil when he tried to take and sabotage, you know, and she and I just met. But when I tell you the stories, the testimonies are so similar, but you have to keep going on. You have to dig deep down within. Yeah, you may weep. And Psalms 2 was a book that carried me through. You know, and that same, I used to say, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, like the little train just going up the wheel. You know, but if there was me, there is someone else. So you do see
Right. And you're
yourself within
right.
others.
And you're not alone.
You're not
Everyone
alone.
has their own journey. Okay, so let's kind of talk about the event. And then and I have some questions about specifically people's reactions to what, you know, they're feeling after they've had their haircut or whatever. So on December 15th, what goes on? Give me kind of like bird's eye view.
So from a blanket lady to a vision that was so big, only God can do it.
Right.
So
You've
he
gone
gave
from
us-
handing out blankets
Yes.
to 100 people, which is a huge, I mean, that's amazing.
Yes.
Now you've got 15,000 in a convention center, including
Yes.
volunteers.
Right.
Go ahead.
So God has given a vision wherein on one day, a homeless person don't have to think where to find food. So if they could just rest for a day of their journey of walking in the streets aimlessly, so that was the vision. I said, okay, why don't we have a birthday party for Jesus where the guests are the homeless and the poor? Because the Bible said, go and call the poor and the needy, the lame, because the rich will not come to my party. So we kind of think that will be Jesus' birthday, because if it's Jesus, he will have a birthday party for the poor and not for the really rich people, because the rich will not even come to the party. So I said, we'll do it at the convention center. Well, actually, God said that at the convention center. I thought it was just in a homeless shelter. And now we have last year, this is our 15th year. Last year we have 15,000 who came. And the first thing that we do for the homeless and the poor, they get inside, then we share Jesus one-on-one. And then after that, we take them to the foot washing. So we wash their feet and put on socks and shoes, massage their feet and lotion that and put powder. And then we take them to the coach, sleeping bags, haircuts, makeover, flu shots, eyeglasses, dentist. And then we take them to the area where they could find jobs and housing and also lawyers, free advice. And then we take them to the area where they could get food and entertainment for 6 hours. And then we take them to the area where they could call home. It's called Operation Call Home. And if they get reunited with their families, we take them to the bus and pay $200 per homeless to go home.
You are unbelievable.
And then
It's amazing.
Yeah.
we follow up and make sure they have jobs. And I have a story of a lady who lived under the bridge. Her name is Donna, and she had three children. She got 2-year-old and 7 and 11, a 9-year-old. And then at night she called me after the event because she did not see me. And she said, Susie, could you help me reunite with my families? And that's what we do inside the convention center. And I said, okay, what do you need? She said, I need to go home to my mother-in-law in New York. I said, okay, what's your story? She said, I live under the bridge with my 3 children. I would tie them with a bandana in my waist. And then I said, how about the food? She said, oh, in daytime, I would steal food from a grocery store. And then I said, how about the money? She said, I would, in the morning, when my 2 boys are in school, I would sell myself. So I just started weeping, and I said, Donna will send you home. And that was Sunday when she called me. By Tuesday, 3 of our board members and 3 volunteers came to pick her up and then took her to the bus. We paid $200 per person. There were 4 of them. And then we gave them extra $200 cash and then food. And then we gave them gifts for each one. And then we followed up. She got home to New York to her mother-in-law, Betty. And I followed up with Betty. Donna had an apartment and the children are in school.
Wow. That's incredible. So do you ever get to hear what people, you do all of these wonderful things. They have this experience and they get their hair cut, they get their feet washed, they get maybe some free advice from an attorney. Their reaction.
Oh my goodness.
Do you see, I'm sure you can see it, but are they giving you these testimonials? They're saying, you've changed my life.
Yes, you could just see some people would just run at me and hug me, and children will hug me, and you could see children even just playing with their shoes that were lighting up, and they were just running around like just so delightfully happy, and that just make my heart so happy. And the children's area have zip lines. We have pony rides, petting zoo. We have rock wall climbing. We have bounce houses. We have face painting, balloon artists. We have backpacks. We have toys. We have shoes. We have also food and haircuts and also eyeglasses. We have 3 buses that could make eyeglasses on the spot.
Wow. So what else do you need? If people are watching and they're saying, how can I help? Do you need volunteers? Do you need more blankets? What else? What's on your wish list?
We need a lot of volunteers, of course, and of course financial need, because it's massive. Just the convention center alone and the pipes and drapes will cost us $120,000, just facility alone, not counting the sleeping bags, blankets, toys. So we have 6,000 children last year. So this year we're expecting more, because we're inviting DISD, the poorest and the homeless in DISD. There's actually 3,500 homeless children in DISD that you probably didn't even know. So these children are invited to our event, and whoever is very poor and homeless and refugees, they're invited to come. So we need lots of toys. We don't want any child. By the way, there was a testimony about toys. There is this ministry that brought 3,000 children from South Dallas last year to our event. And then afterwards, in January, they told us, Susie, we are so grateful. Did you know that because of the toys that you gave away, it prevented homelessness? I said, in what way? She said, because you gave away toys in December, most of the time, the poor families, the impoverished families, they spent all their money to buy toys so they could have something under the tree for Christmas. And because you gave away the toys, they didn't have to spend their money, because in January, if they spend all their money for toys, by January, there's no money. By December, they are evicted. By February, they are evicted. So February is the month where the most number of evictions are happening because of the Christmas event.
Wow.
So we just prevented a lot of people to become homeless because we gave away thousands of toys.
The impact you're making, it's enormous. And I wonder if for volunteers, their feedback, because just like you, both of you, are helping others and you were able to put life in perspective and see that you can find some joy, and helping others, obviously helps you. I wonder what your volunteers are saying after they leave
Oh, volunteers at the foot washing area, they cry. And actually, some volunteers that were young people from a church before, I was told that they became missionaries
Wow. Oh my gosh. Because of your experience.
because of the experience
Yeah.
they had being kind. And we had a church, a Prestonwood Baptist Church in 2004, who came with 300 volunteers, 300 young people who sang. And the children did not eat the whole day. They wanted to
wanted to have the
experience
same experience.
homelessness. And
Well, so I think that if you're
changed their
okay,
lives.
so if you're watching, you can either help out with your own personal time,
Volunteers and-
volunteer, but also this is a gift you can give yourself by stopping for a moment, helping someone else, and kind of giving yourself a life reset. It's almost the end of the year, starting off January.
Just a gift.
Just
Give
give
your
yourself
time. Give your
a
time.
gift, but giving yourself that feeling of purpose and helping someone else that isn't as fortunate, or you'll take financial donations, you'll take
yes, we
toys
need
or
toys,
whatever,
coats.
and coats. People
Shoes.
can visit opcare.org, right?
Yes.
For more information on that. And for Golden Touch, it's goldentouchllc.org.
Correct.
Well, I can't thank you both enough for inspiring me today. And I am excited to see the event and to see how your scholarships follow through and watch both of you succeed. And thank you for making a difference in our community.
Yes, we need lots
Yes.
of volunteers also to set up on December 14th, the whole day on Friday. Lots of volunteers because it's 500,000 square
Okay, so if
feet.
someone wants to volunteer, they can just go to the website and register.
Oh, they could just show up at
just-
the convention center on Friday.
14th.
But on the 15th, they need to volunteer and go to our website because we need to know who they are.
Exactly. But if not, show up on the 14th and look for Susie.
And any volunteers in the hair area, you can bring your own equipment,
Okay.
barbers and stylists. But go to the site and sign up, and that way we can make sure that we're putting everybody in the areas and provide the needs and the services. on that
Amazing.
day.
Okay, well, there's the information on how to volunteer. And thank you again for making a difference in our community. This has been fabulous. Thanks so much for watching Believers in Business, and we will see you next time.
Thank you. God